Catering to one celiac can be quite expensive, let alone 3 in one family.
It's taken a long time, but I would definitely say I feel better.
What's more important, like your life or a Chinese?
Coming up, we'll be hearing from 3 different celiacs residing in Scotland and Wales and Coeliac UK's Derek Roberts. But first, they're explaining their diagnosis story and symptoms.
I was born with celiac disease, but I didn't have an initial diagnosis.
It's like May 2023 that I started having these really, really bad headaches, like behind my eyes. My entire head was hurting, and it was really debilitating. I was having to have a nap every day to try and get over it.
In August 2023, I had not been feeling very good all summer, really, really lethargic. My mouth had all broken out in ulcers. I had thrush in my tongue, and my stomach just felt bloated at different times. I was really uncomfortable.
My first symptoms were that I really struggled to eat as a baby. I was refusing to eat solid foods. Beyond my toddler years, when I was a bit more vocal, I just kept refusing food and said that I felt sick every time, and my parents were like, you can't be sick after every single meal, come on.
Explained my symptoms to the GP, and she said, you've just really high for gluten intolerance. I was like, I don't understand. If I eat gluten every single day, like anything you could think of, I eat it and I'm always fine.
I didn't grow at all from the ages of 4 to 7 years old. I was really, really anemic and underweight. I had really thin arms and legs, and my belly was huge. I looked like a pregnant child.
Then I had my endoscopy in March 24. I had an entire Domino's pizza the night before. The guy doing it, he was like, oh, when did you have gluten last? I said, oh, last night I had a whole Domino's pizza. And he said, oh no, you haven't got a gluten intolerance. I just looked at your bowel, well, it's absolutely fine. So to have this diagnosis was a real shock.
At one point when I was 7 years old, the doctors asked my parents if there was any history of bowel disease in the family, and my dad was like, yeah, actually, like 2 of my aunties and uncles have celiac disease. And then that just sounded alarm bells. That started then the process of getting the diagnosis.
So I went and saw my GP, and she said, right, we're going to take bloods, and she says, I'm basically going to tick everything on here that we can possibly test for. And then a week later, I had a phone call to say it came back positive for celiac.
I had an endoscopy. They knew exactly that it was celiac disease at that point.
It just absolutely floored me. I was crying. I was like, what is my life going to be like? As I'm considered like a silent celiac, even though I can eat gluten and I don't suffer with it, I can't tell I'm suffering, but obviously damage to me inside, which obviously I don't want.
If you have celiac disease and you live in the UK, you might be able to get gluten-free food on prescription. In Scotland, you can get gluten-free staples like bread and pasta through your local pharmacy. In Wales, it varies, with some areas offering prescriptions and others using a top-up card scheme. Northern Ireland also follows national guidelines, and if you're diagnosed celiac disease, you're most likely eligible. However, in England, in many areas, support has been cut back or removed entirely. Prescriptions are only available in some places and are usually done on a case-by-case basis. So while the system is still in place in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, access in England is very limited, and it all comes down to local prescribing rules. Check with your GP or local celiac support group for what's available in your area. And coming up next, I spoke to 3 celiacs residing in Scotland and Wales about their experiences with the gluten-free prescription system.
Yeah, so I live in Wales, and the prescription system in Wales is once you have a diagnosis of celiac disease, you can get a lot of the kind of essential foods on prescription. Bread, cereal, pizza bases, pasta, crackers. Those are like the main things that I would get on prescription. And since I got the diagnosis, it's helped me so much because it's just so expensive in shop.
So I sent this application form off, and then it came back then with a little card, like a debit card. It's called All Pay. It's got my name on it, and every 3 months then they'll credit my card with £56. And I can just spend it on whatever gluten-free things I want. It's been much more beneficial to me than 8 loaves of bread and a packet of flour a month.
Here in Scotland, once you are registered celiac, you can then get certain items on prescription. So it was no bother, just went in, saw the pharmacist. There was a referral came through from my GP to the pharmacist. He got me hooked up. And basically every month I can have up to 14 units. And I have a great big long list that I can pick from.
It's really good then that I can just go out and buy, instead of buying bread, I can buy wraps, or like I bought myself some Indian flatbread, so the next time we have a takeaway, I can just have one of these Indian flatbreads.
It's really helped us as a family because we can just order these on prescription, a repeat prescription, get the food in, and it just caters to us all as a family.
So there is breads, there's pasta, there's cereals, there's crackers, there's flour, rolls and things like that as well. I don't even need it every month, so I would say I put in an order maybe about once every 6 weeks.
There are a lot of things now that have been discontinued. Flour is another thing actually as well. A lot of these things have been discontinued, which is a shame. And I think the NHS is under a lot of stress right now anyway, and a lot of prescriptions aren't arriving on time, or once they have arrived, the food is like only a day or two in date. So we have had problems like those recently, but as a whole it's still really like saved my family a lot of stress and a lot of money.
It gets me down to the ground. I wish that more people could have it.
I think we're very lucky here in Scotland with the prescriptions. I think it's such a shame that you don't have that access in England, because that's made a big difference to the cost, definitely.
Coeliac UK have been the national charity in the UK for over 50 years now. One of our campaigns is to protect gluten-free prescriptions. It's part of a wider initiative to make gluten-free food more affordable and more accessible. So the prescriptions is a big part for people on low incomes that might find it difficult to follow the diet and that maybe not get the money to spend in supermarkets. So a lot of the research has found that people on low incomes that aren't following the diet, it can lead to the poorer health later in life. So prescriptions is a big element to give them access to these essential products. So yeah. So basically there's a postcode lottery in a sense with prescriptions. So as you mentioned, in Scotland there's the gluten-free food service. So in Scotland, we can go to the pharmacy after our diagnosis and we can just order directly from the pharmacy. So there's the only really GP involvement is the initial diagnosis and confirmation that you would give to the pharmacy. It's quite a straightforward system and everyone in Scotland's entitled to it. Wales are also trialling different kind of schemes as well. So there's currently a voucher scheme that's been trialled in some areas. So the accessibility is stronger in Wales as well for prescriptions. But in England, there's the Evolve kind of health board service. So it's local integrated care boards that decide. So it's devolved to each individual care board. So we're finding that some care boards are just they're starting consultation periods and they're ending basically access to gluten-free prescriptions in that specific area. There's a lack of kind of balance there. Want to engage with the policymakers and the decision makers, and it's having that initial discussion with them and engagement so that we can really show what our community's needs are and the impact that the long-term impact on the NHS if gluten-free prescriptions are stopped everywhere. We just want equal access and an affordable way and for everybody to access gluten-free food. Yeah, I guess it can almost feel, I compare when you first get diagnosed, it's like a grieving process. It can be quite, I think it can have an effect on your mental health, and there's a huge psychological impact there. So I guess it's just, it will get better. I think as you learn and you progress on the diet, it's just keeping an open mind and just looking at it positively.
Do your best. And was look at it as in you can't have these things anymore and you've got to be careful, but the bigger picture is that you'll be a lot healthier. And yeah, your body will thank you for it.
I would say before they go out shopping, actually check everything that you already use. I didn't rush out and buy, all of these free from things.
Advice for new celiacs, I would say get in touch with the celiac community. Obviously, it's not a rare disease. There are so many celiacs out there, so many your age. Have a look at the Coeliac UK website. That's what helped my parents the most when I got diagnosed. Also, educate your family, get your family onto the Coeliac UK website. It takes that advocating and educating other people about it. If you share your needs, people will be more than happy to help you with that.
Stay positive and things will get better.
If you're struggling with the cost of gluten-free food or any aspect of your diagnosis, Coeliac UK have a helpline that you can call. Don't suffer alone. There are Facebook groups, apps, forums and celiac support groups that can help you with your diagnosis. Always speak up, stay cautious and just enjoy life as you would before.